Hi guys. I have literally made a video like 3 or 4 times and have never posted them. So I thought I would just hurry and update everybody. Had tons of calls and texts. I know it's been a while. So Brian starts radiation tomorrow. He will have radiation every day at 10:15. We're doing Utah Valley. I've had a lot of people ask me why, like, why aren't you going to Huntsman? Why aren't you going other places? So I just need to explain a little bit. Well, I don't need to explain, but I want to explain to people why I have chosen to do what I do. Brian had to have an MRI to go forward with radiation. And I'm so sorry. Wow, I look like a hot mess. Anyway, um, he last week was doing really well, except for his personality still, which I knew would probably, take weeks to get back. Still very forgetful. He's getting better about not leaving things open. He loses his phone all the time. Actually, we laughed last night because he told Corbin, "Where is my phone?" And right then I opened up the fridge and it's sitting in the fridge. So, still having a little bit of memory issues there. Um, like he'll walk in the house and shut the door and I'm like right behind him. That's just not like him, but it's not a big deal. But anyway, so Friday he started getting a little bit more tired, and then I noticed that morning he kind of had that wobble getting out of bed that he had um, that day when I noticed that we need to take him to the hospital. So, um, he went home, he slept, but then Saturday it was even worse. I actually debated on taking him to the hospital, to the emergency room, but being a nurse and knowing how the system works, and that we had an appointment with his oncology Monday, I knew that they would probably say follow up with the radial oncologist, and they would probably give him some dexamethasone. So I hooked him up to an IV and gave him some dexamethasone to help with his tumor, because I knew what was going on with swelling in the brain. We waited Sunday and then Monday, so Friday too. I was told on Tuesday, if they haven't called you in a couple days, just call them, set up an appointment for his MRI. I've sent in the order. Great. I didn't call till Friday morning. I thought I'll give him a little bit of time, of course, call Friday morning. They don't have the orders and the doctor's off. So I call the doctor's office. They were trying to get a hold of the nurse, but you know how that is. They have the day off and it's, not a big deal. So I do really love his radial oncologist, Jay Clark. He has been amazing, super communicative, everything. He gets right back to me. He's been great. But, when it comes to staffing and stuff, we don't want to bother the doctor. And if it's not you going through it, it's not emergent, kind of. And I've kind of been feeling like, because of his diagnoses, that nobody's in a hurry, because you're just getting time at this point. They have not got back pathology yet. It won't be completely back until March 2nd. However, he had his MRI because I spent probably 3 hours at the hospital walking back and forth, getting hand prescriptions, whatever I needed to get that MRI. And I basically said, I am not leaving this hospital until he has an MRI. Well, of course we had to. They ended up saying, well, you can come back at 10 o'clock tonight. Like, fine, we'll be back at 10 o'clock tonight. Ended up finding out that there's a way that when they send the orders, it can go to, I think it's called Teleca, which is right. We actually have one right here in Spanish Fork. It's an MRI company and it's less expensive, and but it is owned by HC. So I actually called them when I got home, and they told me they could get him in at 3:30, and I said done. So we were over there. We got his MRI. We got the MRI back by 4:30. Unfortunately, on the MRI, which I was afraid of, the tumor that it's in his frontal lobe. Both of them were in the frontal lobe. They took the one in the upper, or I guess frontal lobe out, and then he had one towards the back. That one was very tiny, only like a 1.8. And if it is glioblastoma. They can double within just a couple of weeks. It can be very bad. And of course, once I started seeing all those symptoms, I was like, oh, we really have to get some treatment into him. And they can't do chemo and radiation until his wound heals because it will keep you from healing. Long story short, his tumor has already tripled in size. They also saw some white matter, which they said could be swelling, but also could be tumor coming back already from where they just took that part out of the front of his brain. They also found 2 other locations in his brain. They found the parietal lobe, and then they said a couple towards the end or the back of the head. And when I talked to the radiologist oncologist today, he didn't seem to, or yesterday, he didn't seem to really say anything about anything in the back of his head. But he did say the parietal lobe. If they look back at the original MRI, there was a little notation of it. So he technically had three tumors when we went in. This one hasn't grown very big, but the one in his motor cortex has. And so then, of course, I immediately called Tuesday to let Dr. Clark know. He actually got back to me fairly quickly. I let him know I did get the blood work back from the Guardant 360. At first, so he had 2 really bad biomarkers for this particular gene, but then when I sent it into Dr. Clark, there was a drug study that he could do for glioblastoma, and they're just recruiting at this point, so I have no idea when it's going to go. But Dr. Clark said, hey, talk to Dr. Kabashna about whether he wants to maybe try one of these medications. So I did send the information to Dr. Kabashna. He did call us back later this afternoon, and he just told me that the particular variant, the EGFR variant that is really bad to have, he said the particular number on it really is only for lung cancer. He goes, I don't foresee that being any type of an issue with his particular tumor, which I'm a little confused about because they were doing the testing based on glioblastoma, but that may just have been a gene variant that he has. But he said, and to be honest, these medications aren't FDA approved. He goes, it would be really irresponsible of me to try and put him on this. It's going to cost you $10,000 a month. And of course I will pay $10,000 a month if that's what it takes. But, we decided that maybe that wasn't the way to go. I'm still talking with California. I know people are like, why are you doing radiation and chemo? This is the reason. His tumor is growing way too fast. I mean, day by day. We did get him on dexamethasone on Monday. He took a dose on Monday afternoon, and by Monday night he was doing much better. Yesterday he was doing better, but he woke up this morning and he fell. So he's fallen like 4 times now. He's super unsteady, even on the dexamethasone that was helping originally. So this is fast moving, and I just personally in my heart feel like we need to do something that we know that will target those areas, and at least for a little bit. They said we wouldn't have an MRI again for almost 2 months. So they do the 6 weeks of radiation and the 6 weeks of chemo. Then he goes off a whole month. He has no radiation, no chemo. And then we do an MRI, and then he does like 5 days on or 7 days on of the Temodar, and then 23 days off. And he'll do that for about 6 months, as long as it's working. He also had a DNMT gene mutation. We're waiting on the pathophysiology. Dr. Clark did talk to the pathologist, and they haven't finalized anything, but they basically told him that yes, he's stage 4 glioblastoma, which makes sense as to why this is growing so quickly. Not the news we wanted. But and that day he said, I wish I could get him in today. I would start today. This tumor's growing super fast. So then they were going to try and get him in today. Obviously, they didn't get that done because we never got the phone call. So we're going to start tomorrow as originally planned. Got all of his medicine, got his chemo here. And yeah, we're just hoping. So just wanted to get on, let you guys know where we're at this point. You know, we knew from the very beginning, we were hoping that it wouldn't be glioblastoma, but it is. It's a grade 4. I did try the high dose vitamin C. I also was trying Ivor. I won't finish the word because they won't put my video up, but I took him off of that because it wasn't helping. I have a couple of other things that I want to try, methylene blue. I'm just doing a course on that right now because I want to make sure that I'm doing it appropriately so it's effective for him. And then I also signed to see a doctor. I won't be able to see her for another couple weeks, but she does, it's called Off Scripts, and they, if you sign up with them, they can help you manage any off-label medications that they are studying or find that are helpful in certain cancers. So I know a lot of people have talked about the Ben, and I'm actually looking at Ben to possibly put him on because that crosses the blood-brain barrier. And with that particular mutation, if he has it and it's bad, it's supposed to make the tumors more susceptible to the Timidar. So sorry, I know this is really like, I can't say the words because when I did last time, I actually had my video taken down on TikTok. And so I just am not going to say anything that might be controversial or not FDA approved or anything. Sorry, just lost my phone. So yes, so what I'm asking for tonight is just that, you know, if this is supposed to work, please just pray that it's supposed to work. Yeah, that's really all we're asking at this point. We are very aware that this is not good at all. We still have hope for sure, but we also have done all the planning. I actually asked him if he wanted to help, if he wanted to go in and help plan his funeral. And he actually said, yeah. I said, you know, most people don't get this chance, so we'll probably try and do that. I don't know if it's really going to work because with radiation to the brain, they say it's really hard on the brain, and that by the time he's done, instead of a 52-year-old brain, he'll have a 62-year-old brain. However, using the methylene medication that I'm hoping to use, it's very neuroprotective, but I also have to make sure that it's not going to block any of the radiation or chemotherapy. So like I said, I'm just studying it. I want to know how to infuse it safely, that sort of thing. So we do still have some things in our pocket. If for some reason the radiation and chemo works, then our goal is to try and get him to California or Arizona, or if he's not a candidate for the tumoral immunity, then I'm hoping to partner with them, especially for other people here in Utah that maybe go to see him in California, that I can maybe possibly do treatments with him. I've partnered with other doctors outside of Utah to provide treatments for some of their clients. So that's the hope, but he is declining super fast. He's not very confused. When we talk to him, he's good. He does get confused. He's always wanting to put on his shoes, and I'll say, where are we going? And he's like, oh, I'm just getting ready to go. And I'm like, we're not going anywhere. So he's always putting his shoes on. Yeah, he gets very agitated early in the morning. We don't sleep much. The last couple of nights he's really gotten irritated between 4 and 4:30. So tonight I'm seeing kind of a pattern. So I'm gonna wake up and give him some medication before that time and see if I can help so he doesn't go through that agitation and can Sleep. Everyone keeps asking what they can do. Really just pray at this point. I think Addie's having the hardest time with it. The rest of us, I think, are feeling, I mean, obviously, like I said, we don't want to lose our partner, our spouse, our best friend, but he's not the same. And I don't want him, you know, to be here and not be able to do the things that he wants. And honestly, I mean, it's a win-win for him. If he gets to stay here, it's a win for us. If not, it's a win for him. And yeah, he won't even, once he's there, he won't even think twice, you know. But he's had a really good attitude about it. He's just like, this is what we're put here for. None of us are getting out alive, you know. And he said we don't get to pick our trials. So I think, yeah, that's just where we're at. So I haven't really asked for any assistance, and the reason for that is there hasn't really needed to be any assistance. Of course, as many of you know, when you have a spouse, it's nobody can take care of them better than you can, and that is true. And I've had people say they'll take him to chemo or whatever for me, and I so appreciate that. But if anything happens like Monday, I know how things are supposed to run, and I'm going to make sure it gets done. So I don't want anything to fall through the cracks. Not saying that you would let it fall through the cracks, but sometimes when you don't know the system, you know, it makes it harder. So that is my plan. His mom is coming down on Friday. We have notified everybody. Thank you all for all the suggestions, everything you're sending me. I really am looking at them. We are digging for anything and everything we can, you know, to help this. He's like, try whatever, you know, whatever you think you need to. I asked him, you know, I said, do you have a feeling one way or another? Because some of my clients have known, and he said, I don't know. I don't particularly have a feeling one way or another, but I'm willing to try anything. So yeah, so that's what we're doing. I may start requesting help once he's doing the chemo and radiation, because if he does get confused or he's unable to, you know, move, and I can't leave him alone ever, then I may need some help getting groceries or anything like that. And my kids are super helpful, but I also don't want to burn them out. They have their own families, so I don't want them to, obviously they come over and they'll do whatever. I know that, and they won't even ask. They'll come over and take care of the animals for me, and they bring him some, you know, fresh fruit and stuff. So it's not that, it's just, you know, they're already stressed about their dad as well, and then having their own families and work and jobs. You know, I don't want to burn them out as well. So, because I know they'll probably need time if anything else happens. So, anyway, thank you guys for listening. If you made it this far, I hope this kind of updates you. I will update you a little bit more now that we have some answers, things that were going. I literally did like 4 videos, and each time I found something else out. So then I would be like, okay, I'm just going to do a video. So I have all these videos on my phone. We're doing okay. We really are. It sucks, and it's okay not to know what to say or do. Just saying, hey, it sucks, I'm sorry. I wouldn't want anyone else to go through it. But we feel okay. We feel okay with everything, and regardless what happens, it was very nice. Aiden was able to give me and Addie a blessing last night, and I asked Brian if he could stand in, and Addie held him up while Aiden gave me a blessing, and Brian stood it, and then we swapped, and I held him up so he could be in Addie's blessing. And then he actually sat on the couch, and Aiden got down on the floor, and he actually gave Aiden a blessing. So that was very sweet, and I was so grateful for that time, and for the opportunity that we had last night. So here at home last night was super emotional, but you're going to have those days. We're going to have good and bad, and, you know, and I've also had people say, you're taking this so well. I'm like, yeah, I want to climb in a corner and bawl my eyes out. But in the end, I have to be there for him. I have to be there for my kids. And yeah, so I guess what I'm saying is I don't want to sit here and mourn him every day. There'll be plenty of time to mourn if that time comes. If I'm already mourning him, then I'm not technically, I guess, here with him, right? So anyway, sorry this is taking a long time. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the texts, the flowers, stopping by. Everything is so sweet. My sister came by. I have people who are just my clients that are so sweet and putting our name in the temple and everything. And I mean, the outpouring of love and care has just been amazing. So I really appreciate that. Again, if you want to help, I've hired someone at my clinic. So if you guys have ever wanted treatment, go in and purchase a package of something that's going to help me pay for any further treatments for him outside of this if things go the way that we hope. And I'm going to say they haven't so far, but I'm not in control, and I have to be okay with that. So thank you guys so much. I just can't even tell you how awesome you guys are, the support and reaching out, even though I haven't needed to use you yet. Believe me, you probably will be used to the point where you're tired of it. So get ready. So have a good night. Talk to you guys later. Bye.